It's Shirley, Sir Winston, Carol the Kiwi, and welcome to Kids Corner. We're going to do some drawing today of Joseph and his coat of many colors. You may have seen the story I told about Joseph, whose father wanted to show his love for Joseph by making him a really fancy cloak or coat. So I've also included a little man here that's kind of in the position that Joseph is. And it'll help us to understand about drawing because he's kind of got some different shapes to him. So what you're going to need is some paper, a pencil, eraser, and crayons, markers, something to color it in. So how we're going to start is we're going to start on the head part, and we're making a lot of simplified shapes that we'll give details to later. So we're going to do the head. We're going to almost think about it as an egg, that it's going to be sort of an elongated oval. And to help us think where the head's going, we're going to draw kind of what would be the center of the face. And if you took all our hair off of us, our eyes would go right about in the middle. Halfway between our eyes and our chin is our mouth, and halfway between our mouth and our eyes is our nose. And this will help us with the placement. Now, when you draw, you're not going to press as heavy as I am. I need to press heavy so you can see. And now we're going to kind of put where the neck is. It's a little bit more like a cylinder down the edge. Now we're going to try the main part of the body. So we're going to go out for each shoulder. And then generally for men and boys, they will narrow in a bit to the waist. And we'll give him his waist. Now we're going to draw his hips, and this will be the start of where you'll see that Joseph is kind of leaning forward on one foot. I'm going to put the other Joseph in behind here. So we're going to draw the hips in. And now we're going to draw our legs. And this is the leg. It's going to be a bit more forward. And if we think of the legs, the knee, where we kind of have a bend, is not quite halfway down. The lower part of the leg is longer. Narrows in a little at the bottom. We're just going to do here for an ankle, out for a foot. Now the other leg is a little bit behind, so this leg will kind of look in forward of it. We'll go down. Knee's not quite as far down. And the leg, stick the ankle here, and out for the foot. Now he's going to need his arms. Going to start here, come down. The elbow generally on us is before the waist, and the elbow will have a little bit of a bend down, coming in for the wrist and a hand. The other side, elbow, and we're going to have him bend in his arm, hand. Now, I think we'll add just a little bit to give us an idea of about his hair. So we'll kind of have him here just below the chin. Now we've drawn the outline of his body, and what that helps us with is to help to understand how his cloak is going to go. So actually what we're going to do is I've made a little drawing And you can see that kind of in the orangey color, this is the outline of his body. In the blue color, this is how the cloak is going to sit on his body. And you'll see that that really is going to cover up most of his body. So it doesn't matter if, the arms are perfect, because his cloak is going to cover them up. So we're going to start. His cloak is going to sit on the shoulders. It's kind of going to come around a bit for the neck. And then we're going to have it, don't come all the way to the center, kind of drop straight down, and we're going to have his cloak go below his knees. And at the shoulder, it's going to drop pretty well straight down again and across. Okay, we're going around now to the other side of the cloak. Neckline, again, don't come to the middle because we want to have it fall open and show a little bit of what's underneath. Because he's leaning forward, this side's going to seem to be a little shorter. And again, it's going to fall straight from the shoulder. Now, because it's long, you're going to see a little bit underneath, and so at the back, we're just going to make a little bit across. Now, the cloak is going to have some sleeves. Because the material is stiff, it's not going to follow his arms really closely. So it's going to come out from the shoulder, and we'll put it down across at the wrist. Here again, out from the shoulder, and we'll swing it in a little bit and about across at his wrist. And that gives us the cloak. So now we're going to start refining the details. This is where your eraser is going to come in handy. So generally, the eyes that line across at the top, we're just going to make them kind of like 2 dots. His nose, we can make a like that. Kind of a line for the mouth, a little bit underneath, and we'll erase that off later. Because his head's more turned to this side, we're probably going to see an ear, and the top of your ear, if you follow it across, it kind of starts somewhere around your eyebrows, so I guess we better give him some eyebrows. And we may see a little bit of an ear. Now, he needs to have some hair down on his forehead because we don't have hair starting up here when we're young. So we'll make it kind of wavy. So we'll try to erase some of this. Okay. Now, Joseph needs more clothes than just a cloak, and at that stage they probably had a tunic, probably not up tight around his neck. So why don't we give him a V-shaped tunic for the neck. It would have been shorter than to his knees, so why don't we end it somewhere around here. And it was probably tied at his waist. We'll add a little bit of a rope there, maybe a pleat. Now, before we fill that in, we're going to get rid of some of the lines here for the arms, and you'll have a much easier job because you will not have pressed as hard as I pressed. We'll make it a lot easier to see the cloak we really want to decorate. So his hands, to make it easier, I'm going to put his hands kind of up against his cloak, and we'll just kind of a bit more of a shape of the thumb, and it's in his hand. We'll just maybe only see a little bit of it. Now nobody's ankle looks like a line across here, so what we're going to do, I'm going to come down a little in. Toes, just kind of give a sense. And again, out. And you look down sometimes at your toes. Big toes are at the inside. There we go. So now it's your chance to get very creative with what we have. So this is a black marker. And we're going to give Joseph some black curly hair. Eyes, the eyebrows. A little smile on his face. He's pretty happy. He has this fancy cloak. So underneath the tunic, we're going to make perhaps the tunic a little orange. And this is where you can really express your own creativity about what it is. I'm making my tunic fairly plain because they probably would have woven it in the household just of one color of thread, and probably very close to the color of the wool from their sheep. So when you color this, it's helping you see the edges of your cloak much better. And this is where you can get really fancy with the cloak. In some cases, they say it's a cloak of many colors. Some cases, they say it's very heavily ornamented. Or coloring in the coat of many colors, I would really like it if you draw one of these. If you could send me a picture, and we'll put the address at the bottom of the screen just to see how you decorated your coat of many colors. Now I think we'll end off with a prayer. If you could bow your head and repeat after me. Dear God.
Dear God.
Help us when we are feeling scared.
Help us when we are feeling scared
and sad. Thank you for the people.
Thank you for the people
who are looking after us.
And others.
Help us to care.
For other
people.
In your world.
Thank you.
For
loving us.
Amen.
And we'll see you next time at Kids Corner.